We got another Rick who's joining us right now, and we're delighted about that. He's the manager for the Louisville Bats, the team that's been a bit on fire lately, and they certainly talk about some offense. They got some offense. They fell short in Syracuse in their last game, but they've been on a bit of a tear, and Rick Sweet joins us right now here on ESPN 680. Skip, congratulations on a great run lately. I know the last one got away from you, but boy, oh boy, you guys are scoring some runs.
Well, one thing about baseball is as much as you'd like to win every game, it's just not going to happen. But our offense has been pretty unbelievable.
I was going to ask you, with your long career in so many teams you managed in the minor leagues, is this as deep an offensive team as you've been able to put together?
Well, without a doubt. And, especially when I go into a situation where the pitchers are hitting, that means I have to sit a very good offensive player because I don't have the DH. So it's by far the most potent offensive club I've ever had.
The Bats take on Syracuse in the series finale at 7 o'clock tonight and then make their way to Lehigh Valley to take on the Iron Pigs. You and I visited about this before, and I'm not blowing smoke at you, but it's worth talking about right now. I mean, I in some ways I admire how they do it. I get the feeling Dusty Baker uses the AAA team here like a high school team uses their JV. I mean, he just calls guys up and sends them down, and it's kind of one big family, and that makes your job a little bit harder. But you always manage to just seem like you have a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. No matter what they throw at you, you've got something on the horizon. And obviously that's a skill that, is very useful when you're dealing with the minor leagues, but you do it better than anybody I think I've ever seen.
Well, it's either deal with it and figure it out or you're going to be in trouble, and you're right. Smokey and Teddy do a great job, my coaches, of helping me out. We have plenty of plans, A, B, C, and D. We're always prepared. We kind of call ourselves rent-a-bats. It's whenever Dusty runs into any type of problem, he's not hesitant to just swap somebody out. And we've had a revolving door. I mean, we've had players coming and going and players on rehab. It's been by far as unbelievable as our offense has been. Our revolving door has been even more so. It's just hard to believe that we've had as many changes as we've had.
Louisville, 10 games over 500, 4 behind Columbus, but right now would be the wild card team, so they would be in the postseason, and that's obviously not an easy accomplishment in the league, so they're still off to a great start. I want to ask you about, we talked about him in the preseason, but now that we've had him here for a few months, every time I come to the park, I get a kick out of seeing Dontrell Willis. He's in the dugout, and he's vocal, and he's cheering for it. Now, I saw him coaching first base the other day. He doesn't look like he's big-timing anybody when he's here.
By no means. He's a little kid at heart, loves to be in uniform, loves to play, very serious about the game. One thing you have to remember with Dontrell, as much as he has fun and enjoys himself, very serious about the game and very serious about winning. He's a great influence to have on our club, and he's a lot of fun to have on the club.
What is going on in one of the things I heard Matt Andrews talking about on the air, and frankly, he's right. I mean, when you get guys back down here, whether they're rehab assignments or for whatever from the big club, you might as well take advantage of it. You want to win every game, but you certainly want to particularly do that. What are we looking at? Is Homer Bailey coming back? Is he here? Where are we with the guys coming, more rehab stuff? How's that? What's the status of that right now, Skip?
Well, we have Homer Bailey will start the first game in Lehigh Valley. He's back on a rehab. He's scheduled for anywhere from 3 to 5 starts. I think it simply depends on how well he does and how he feels. Sam LeCure is down on a rehab. He actually pitched last night and had a very good inning. Burton is in Arizona on a rehab. And then they sent Chapman down to Double-A this time on a rehab. And he's struggled down there. He's had 2 outings, and both outings they've scored 2 runs on. Well, in fact, 3 runs in the one outing. So we still haven't got that young man back on track. But we've got Homer and Sam LeCure here with us.
Why don't you try and win while they're here, Rick? That'd be good.
Well, it's always good. I'll say it. If you look at our record with rehab pitchers, it's not very good.
Well, I wonder about that. I was going to ask you about
terrible.
that. Well,
it's terrible. The only starting pitcher that I've had that's ever had success here is Homer Bailey. When Johnny Cueto was here, we lost 2 or 3 games. I love Aaron Harang, but I think he was 0-4 or 0-5 for us. You can go back to all of our guys. I bet we haven't won more than 2 or 3 games in the 7 years I've been here with rehab starters on the mound. And it's not their fault, but they're not here to win. They're here just to get their work in, all except for Homer. Homer Bailey wants to win every game he participates in, and that's why he's had success.
That's good to know. That is interesting. It's a good point. Rick Sweet with us, and Homer will get the start in Lehigh Valley, as Rick just told you. I got to ask you, I'm sure if you knew the answer, you would put it in a bottle and send it to Cincinnati and all the problems would be solved, but I think fans are mystified what's going on with Chapman. I saw him in his last outing here, and everybody got all excited. He broke 100 miles an hour again, but then he walked a couple guys, and he got hit around a little bit, and he struggled. And now he's even struggling at Double-A. This is a cause for real concern. Rick, what did you see was his problem? In addition to, as I said, he was walking some people, but beyond that, there have to be problems that go beyond just that. What do you see?
Well, when he was with us, the 3 games he pitched with us, all 3 first innings he was outstanding. Absolutely no problem. The second 2 games that he pitched, he had 2-inning stints. He went out in the second inning and really struggled. And, so obviously when you look at that, there is an obvious problem with his mental approach as far as just being able to go out. He kind of went through the motions, I'll be honest with you. He figured, well, I'm a big leaguer. I'm just down here. I'm going through the motions. And he got beat around a little bit. And then he tried to fix it, and he couldn't fix it. And they took him back up. They worked with his mechanics a little bit. And then they sent him to Double-A, which I was kind of surprised. I was actually hoping I would get him back here. I think Teddy and I have an excellent relationship with him, and I think it would have been better. At least we were hoping to work some more with him because we've had success with him before. But it's just a matter of mentally going in there and finishing what you have to do, and that's a big word for me this year is finish. I see way too many guys not finishing innings and not finishing games with at-bats. So we're really focused on guys mentally staying tough and finishing their job.
This is probably a naive fan question, but I'll ask it anyway. If he's only seems to be effective in 1 inning, is there any chance down the road he'd become a closer?
Well, I think ultimately, if you were to ask me what I thought, I think he will be a closer. But that being said, he's not ready mentally to handle that role. He needs to have success. You're not just handed a closer's role. You start as the apprentice, and you have to work your way into that role for very good reasons. We have to make sure you can handle it. It's not an easy role to be a closer on a club, any type of professional club.
Yeah, to that point, you remember Mariano Rivera actually was the setup guy for John Wetland before he became the best closer.
If you look at most closers, they were the setup guy. They were not the guy in most cases that just came in and became a closer. They were something else before and worked into that role. At least my opinion was, after seeing Chapman as a starter and a reliever, felt that he would wind up being that closer role because as a starter, he couldn't go out and mentally compete for 5, 6, 7 innings. He had mental lapses.
Talking to Rick Sweet, the manager of the Louisville Bats, who offensively have been just lights out, and lots of discussion. I'm not going to put you in an awkward spot because I know you wouldn't do it anyway, to second guess what's going on at the big league level, but they've had not too much production, really, particularly out of left field and even out of shortstop, and you got some guys that are producing at both those positions down here. What kind of communication do you have with Dusty, and is it a matter of these guys on a timetable, or there's some reason they're not ready to go to the big leagues, or what do you make of the makeup of the guys that are producing so well at positions here where they're not getting much productivity in Cincinnati?
Well, I think that depends on Dusty. One thing I like about Dusty is Johnny Gomes won that left field job last year. And you don't just throw it away because he got off to a slow start. Now, he had 3 hits last night.
Right, he's coming around.
On the other hand, you don't just send somebody up there, especially a young guy, until you're 100% sure he's ready to take on that role. We're still early in the season. We're not even halfway through the season. And believe me, all of those things have been talked about, and they're all there. but it's a matter of these guys here continuing to produce. Don't say, well, that's enough, either take me or not. They need to continue to improve and produce with what they're doing and stay focused on their game. And, we have problems sometimes when young guys go up and come back, getting them back focused. They think, well, I've been there, now I'm in line to go again. Well, they're wrong. The only way you go to the big leagues is to be producing when the time opens up. And the time has not opened up yet at shortstop and left field. When it does, I'll have several candidates to go in those positions.
Tell me a little bit about a guy who obviously has lots of eyeballs on. It's such an important position, and he's continues to hit so well. Devin Mesoraco, we talked in the preseason about him. What do you make of his progress this year?
Well, he's made a lot of progress, and he has more to make. He still has lapses. He's a young kid that when they come to this level at AAA, and Devin's run into that where they run into mental lapses because there's so much going on. There's so much, and there'll be even more when they get to the big leagues. So Devin is making progress every day. His calling of games has improved. His consistency blocking and throwing has improved. Offensively, he's probably further ahead offensively than he is defensively. Mm-hmm. But even offensively, he still has lapses where he gets into a rut and is not prepared for what a pitcher is going to throw. But he's got a chance to be a very good everyday major league catcher and is very close to being ready for that role.
Remarkable. I believe I've got these stats right, Rick. I think of the top 10 hitters in the league, I think 5 are Louisville bats. So it's remarkable. And I hate to ask it this way because whenever you ask a manager or a coach who you're surprised by, it implies that maybe they didn't think they were. Some people are not comfortable answering that because it sounds like you didn't think they were going to be that good. I don't mean it that way. I know you have great faith in all these guys, but who do you look at in this year and you say, well, that guy's done even more than maybe we thought he was going to do?
I actually, at least in my opinion, now I think some people within the organization would disagree, but Mesoraco has surprised me with how fast he has caught on with everything we do. I'm notoriously very hard on my catchers, and he has handled it very well, continues to get better, continues to make improvement. And, the more he plays, the better he gets. So I think he's caught on really fast with what we want.
Hey, Rick, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you, even if it's by phone. I'll look forward to seeing you out at the ballpark soon, and continued success. Keep it going.
Good talking to you, Bob. Make sure you get out there when we get home.
I absolutely will. Thanks very much. Rick Sweet with us here on the V Show on ESPN.